Video might come off as something somewhat simplistic, even oversimplified. But it's exactly what I think. I think the most important thing in life is being happy. And I think it's just in our own biology of it, that everything we do is toward pleasure. You know, maybe it goes back to the old Freudian pleasure principle issue. I don't know. But, you know, when I'm unhappy, when something happens, let's say if I'm walking down the street and somebody punched me in the mouth, I'm going to be unhappy about that. And everything I do from that point forward is to get back to my state of happy. Let's say up to that point I was happy. I want to get back to where I was. But this shakes me up. It's like an earthquake in a funny way. You know? Because I want to get back to happy. Maybe one thing is to punch the person back or to get revenge or to call the police or whatever. But I want to do something to get back to that state. I think that when people are unhappy, they feel like they have to do something. Usually something rough or violent or whatever. And other people may have other ways. But everything in the world comes down to getting to happiness. Sometimes, though, it's not always like violent things that happen or crimes or whatever. But sometimes you get bored. You're bored with life. And you try to do things to make life interesting. And sometimes people do things by keeping up drama or whatever. And I think for most people, it's kind of like gambling. You know, it's like you don't know what really would make you happy. And I think, you know, it's interesting because I have a book. And I was reading it, and I have to finish reading it. I haven't finished reading it. It's a book called Stumbled Onto Happiness by Daniel Gilbert. I recommend that book. And some of the stuff, if you go on YouTube and you look up his name, you'll see some of the lectures he gave talking about happiness. And I think the thing is, the problem is this, that we don't really know what makes us happy. I think we know when we are happy, but what does it take to make us feel happy? Let me turn on this light because I need to have a little bit of light in here. The thing is, what does it take to make you feel happy? And there are things, I think about things I do that I enjoy doing, like writing. I really enjoy writing a great deal. And I love to paint. Painting is something that I really, you know, ever since I sort of got into this, and I look back at my old early paintings and how they evolved. Even from the very first day when I was making my very simple paintings, I wasn't even thinking about, you know, becoming some kind of artist. But I did it only because my sister used to do it, and I thought, well, you know, she enjoyed doing that. She enjoyed painting. And so I decided to do it. Sometimes I wonder what my sister would think. You know, if she could see my paintings, what would she think? My sister died about 20-some-odd years ago. It was 22 years ago. But, you know, she would have loved these paintings. All the different things I did. She would have really, you know, it would have been interesting. But the thing is that when I look back over things, I think about all the stuff that I'm doing and how much I enjoy doing it. And that's the motivation. It feels good to do these things. I love to travel. I enjoy doing, you know, so I always try to do things. And I think that in life, there's a kind of discovering what makes you happy. Getting to this process of discovering. Because you really don't know. I mean, you don't know, but it's a journey of discovery of what gives you satisfaction. You know, it's like discovering what kind of foods you like. And I think you only discover that by actually trying different things. I mean, there's things you grow up eating. And then you try different things. Every time I travel, I'm always eating something different and trying some new food. Or when I hear about something, like, you know, the other day I remember watching some video and somebody was talking about natto. It's a Japanese thing. The beans. I actually like that. It is kind of smelly, you know, but they actually, I love the taste of it. And now other people might not like it, but, you know, each person tries their own little thing. Some things other people may not like. Like, for example, there are a lot of people who love calamari. I don't like calamari. Yeah, I tried to like it, but I just couldn't get into it. I just, you know, it just tastes too like eating a tire or something. It's just, it's the texture, but that's the way it is. But I think you have to discover what makes you happy. And that's why I think discovering things is important, why going out and trying different things. But whatever it is, I think that there's something, another thought on my mind about something, about happiness and why I even bring it up. I think there are a lot of people afraid of being happy because I think a lot of people think that happiness is somehow evil. That to be happy is to be evil, because evil people are happy, and good people are miserable. And I think that we're kind of taught that through so many lessons in life. Good people wind up having to suffer, and they go through so much, and they wind up, and good people get crucified, and they're vilified, and they're treated bad, and they're beaten, and they're hung up on crosses, or they get assassinated or whatever. The good people, bad things happen to them, and you're not good unless a bad thing happens. And if you're happy, though, you're living this life of good things, and people think of that like the rich people who are living the good life by sucking off of the poor people. And I think there's this really warped view about being happy. I know I've gotten in trouble for being happy, and it's true, because people, they think that something's wrong, especially if they're miserable. They figure you should be just as miserable as me, because that's the way the world is. The world is full of misery and unhappiness and everything else. So people try to bring you into that. They try to pull you in. Let me say it like Michael Corleone said, just when I was out of it, they pull me in. And that's what people do. They want to pull you into that misery. But I don't think it's like that. I think that, look, in life, a lot of things happen. And I have just as many bad things happen to me as good things. But I think it's just within my nature and the nature of all of us, is whenever a bad thing happens, it's like being thrown off balance. You're thrown off balance, but you try to pull, you get yourself back in balance. That's just a natural tendency. If you're sad, you want to get out of that sadness and into being to a state of balance again, being happy. See, happy to me is balance. It's not so much, you can't be happy all the time. I mean, that's true. I know that. No one is happy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single day, and everything is just happy, happy, happy. And then, whenever something bad happens, you find some way to laugh about it, and, you get your arm cut off. Oh, yes, that's a wonderful thing. No, that's being nuts. That's called being crazy. The thing is, though, whenever things happen, you try to get back to a balanced state. But it seems to me that there are people who are afraid of being happy. They have a fear of happiness. And I think that's true. And people have fear of their own greatness. I think when I was reading Maslow and the thing about what he called the Jonah complex, people have fear of their own greatness or their own ability to do great things. There's that. So there's this kind of negativity about happiness. That somehow only evil people are happy. Good people suffer. And evil people are happy. But in the end, they're going to get theirs, And that's it. That's all I have to say. That's all I want to say.